Aaron Rodgers to play how long? Say what? We'll discuss that and everything else New York Jet related right after this.
Rodgers is a fucking Jet. Let's go!
Biggie. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you and you, Biggie, you. This goes out to you. This goes
Let's
out
make
to
sure
you.
we play like the New York
This
Jets.
goes out to you and you. The door waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door.
You play to win the game.
All you heard was Papa,
Hello?
don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. On your mark, get set. When I spark, you wet. Look how dark you get when you mark for death. Should I start your breath or should I let you die? In fear, you start to cry. Ask why. Lyrically, I'm worship. Don't front the word sick. You cursed it, but rehearsed it. I drop.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Big Jets news today, I think. What's up, Todd? I see you in the chat. Welcome. Thanks for joining. So the Jets news is Aaron Rodgers pretty much said he's going to play 2 years. I could see myself playing at 40, 41. Now, why is that good for the New York Jets? I'll tell you. An extra year of commitment means an extra year of kicking the financial commitment down the road. We saw what he did this year with taking his salary cap hit down to $8,888,888. Now, there was a big hit coming in 2024. He can now lower that cap hit again, opening up more salary cap room for the Jets to address some needs and go all in 2024. How can we not be excited about this? You're getting a 2-year commitment from Rodgers. You're going to have a guy hell-bent on proving everybody wrong that he still can play. You're going to have extra assets to find a guard, to find a tackle, to find another receiver. And then you're going to potentially have a top 5 or 6 draft pick to add another weapon or add a lineman if you don't find one in free agency that you like. You still have the 3rd round pick to add a perfect place to add an interior offensive lineman. And there's still the possibility you tag Huff, and if Huff goes somewhere else, if we decide not to match that contract, to add a 2nd round pick where you can go receiver, tackle, interior lineman with our first 3 picks. The defense is there. Yes, if we lose Huff, it's going to be a blow. But we still have a lot of pieces on the defensive line. We have JJ. We'll have McDonald going into year 2. We have Quinnen. We have JFM. Clemens is still there. I think Jefferson deserves another year. You need to get a run stuffer. I think you need a run stuffer in free agency. And then you get a big body late in the draft. I know they like pass rushers, but you see what we need. We need a couple run stuffing bodies. Al Woods wasn't enough. The minute Woods went down, the entire run defense went to shit. Can't keep giving up 4 yards a rush. You need a guy who can push 2 guys and get through the pocket. My son calling me. This kid never calls me after school. Hey, I'm on a show. I'll call you back. I'm doing my show. Hop on. Yeah, Matthias, what's up, buddy? Yeah, from my understanding, if you tag him as a transition player, it's the average of the top 10. Franchise players average at a top 5. I think you're looking around 21, 22 million. Now, if somebody comes in and wants to give Huff a 4-year, $100 million deal, which pass rushers are getting. You see what Montez Sweat just got when he got traded to the Bears. I think Huff is better than Sweat. Sweat has more sacks for his career, but I think Huff is better player. You look at that, people always want pass rushers, right? They don't become available. Now, the Jets decide to match it. Okay, great. We keep Huff. I'm all for that. But looking at it from a draft pick perspective, not having the number 2 because of the Rodgers trade, if we can either trade down a couple spots or if we lose Huff, acquire a number 2. There's positives in it. It's not gloom and doom for Jets Nation like we normally have, right, guys? So there's a lot of good potential with this team. All right, let's just get right into it. The draft. As of right now, we're picking 6. If we lose to Washington Sunday, we move up to 5. If the Bears beat the Cardinals, we move up to 4. So that's your rooting guide for this week now that we're eliminated from the playoffs. Root for Washington, root for Chicago. And we can be at the 4 spot. Why is that significant, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, and I'll tell you. Here's why it's significant. You're going to have 2 quarterbacks go early, Williams and May. They're going to go in the top 3. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to go in the top 3. Arizona, I think, is going to take him to give Murray a weapon. They got Trey McBride, who's coming on nicely with Kyler Murray now. You add Marvin Harrison with that group, now you got legitimate weapons, and you make up for losing Hopkins. And we saw Kyler Murray was able to get that team to the playoffs a couple of years ago and compete. They drafted a lineman last year. They got another first-round pick in the teens. You can go add another lineman, or you can go add another weapon, and you can just go ballistic. You can add someone like Keon Coleman maybe in the teens with Arizona's other pick and give Murray all the tools he needs to succeed. Oh, good news. Ooh, let me fix that wire. Give me a second. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Let me say hello to a couple people, guys, and then I'll catch up in the chat and get to your questions. Chuck is here. What's up, Chuck? I was getting Sunday and left at the half. The fans were destroying me. Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure. But let's see what happens to them when they got to play teams over 500 and they lose their last 3 games. When they lose to the Bills, when they lose to Dallas, and they lose to Baltimore. We'll be laughing at them, too, when they miss the playoffs. Billy SBC is here. What's up, brother? Joe, sign back there. See, here, I was big on Bakhtiari. And I have the Twitter chat with Dom C, Tigo, Buffalo, Y2K, Gunny, New York Jets Situation Report. And I was big on Bakhtiari going into this season. He missed the entire season again. With the injuries we've had on the offensive line, I can't bring in Bakhtiari after 3 straight years of significant time missed. I think it would be a very bad move for the Jets. To bring in a guy who's been injured every year, to invest in him highly, to trade for him, and then he gets it. I can't do it. We need to start getting guys who have been healthy. I love Bakhtiari, the player. I hate Bakhtiari, the injury-prone guy. That's the best way I can summarize that. I mean, Johnny, who am I to disagree with you? I heard it too. Buckle the fuck up. We're going all in. That's basically what he said without saying it, right? We're going in on 2 years. We're going to run this shit. That's what I heard. Phil Adams from across the pond. What's up, Phil? Thanks for joining. Good news that Ari won't take the field this year and staying for 2 more. Yeah. I mean, it's very good news that he's not going to play this year. I mean, we all wanted it. We wanted to be alive, right? We wanted to have a chance to get into the playoffs. We're all tired of 13 years. It's just another disappointing Jets season, man. There's no other way to word it. Can use the transition tag and a franchise tag in the same year. I'd have to look into that. They're 2 different tags. I believe you can. Give me the players that you're referring to. I can't tag Becton in any way, shape, or form. Becton's got to go. Becton has to go. He cannot get anywhere near a speed rusher. You want to move him to a guard? I'd be in favor of it. But I cannot put Mekhi Becton at tackle. He cannot move. He can't. There's no way I can have him protecting Aaron Rodgers with the way he gives up sacks. He's given up the most amount of sacks. He's tied at 10 for the most amount of sacks given up by a tackle in the league. He's got to go. Let somebody else deal with that. I put it this way. Let me summarize Mekhi Becton like this. Would you be licking your chops if Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, or Bryce Huff were going against Mekhi Becton? Yes, you would. I don't want Becton on the Jets. I want Becton on an opponent of the Jets. Hurt somebody else instead of hurting us. I'm glad he stayed healthy. He said all the right things, but there's no mobility there, man. I want him fighting in a phone booth. You want to go be a guard? Be a guard. I want Becton against Christian Wilkins. I want Becton against Dexter Lawrence. I want Becton against Ed Oliver. I don't want Becton against speed rushers. I can't do it. But Todd, I would have to check that, Todd. I'm not sure. To me, it makes sense. They're different tags. You can tag players. I think a franchise you can only use one, but I'm not sure of that. That I would have to look into. Yeah, Chuck, backup QBs on the list of needs that we have. Billy, I forget Saffold's even on the team. It makes no sense. Saffold, I don't get it. With all the injuries that we've had at guard and signing guys off the street to play, Saffold can't even get activated. What the fuck? Is this Knobcraft with a new name? Slobbert, blah, blah? They've got to be. Let's keep. If you're not Knobcraft with a name twist, I apologize and thank you for watching. But if I'm a betting man, I say this is Knob who changed his name. Gustavo, what's up, bro? I hope our diehard fans realize that when Rodgers went down, our playoffs died. Diehard fans are not realistic. I mean, everyone kind of knew it was going to be a struggle. We hoped that the offensive line would be healthy. We hoped that the team would lean on Breece Hall. We saw some flashes from Breece, the Denver game, the Kansas City game, the Buffalo game, the opener, 11 carries, 127 yards, 117 yards, and then 20 receiving, 137 total, I think it was. So we hoped. But when you're on your seventh right guard and you're on your sixth or seventh right tackle, we've had 4 guys play center. The one guy that you didn't mind if you got hurt was Tomlinson, and he's been the only guy healthy. Chuck, I think you were going to see an all-out effort this year, even if they have to give a Tomlinson contract out to somebody else. They're gonna go big. Rodgers wants him. He will be here, unfortunately. Kings of Opinion, thank you for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe. And if it's your first time watching a live, thanks. I assume you're referring to Becton here. I don't know how anyone can want Becton, even Rodgers. I know he likes him. I know they have a good rapport, but I can't put him at tackle. I can't. It's a tough one, Wild Wave. It's a tough one because if Bakhtiari's healthy, there's no brainer you want him. He's one of the best tackles in the game when healthy. All right, I'm going to pull it up. Give me a second. I should be joined by a guest shortly. David Bakhtiari. Let's look at his game log. All right. So, this year, 1 game. Last year, 11 games. 2021, 1 game. 2020, 12 games. 25 games played in 4 seasons. As a Jet fan, with our line history of injuries, how can anybody want him? Guys, 17, 17, 34, 34, 32. 68 games. He's played 25 of 68 games. We trash Becton for not being available. Bakhtiari's worse. Becton's played more games this year than Bakhtiari's played in his last 4 seasons. I can't see how we can get on board with wanting a guy who can't stay on the field. It's 4 straight years of not completing a season. We can't. Yes, he's a leader, but Carl Lawson was a leader. He can't get on the goddamn field after an injury. How can we expect Bakhtiari to be what Bakhtiari was in his prime? 4 straight years of injuries. All right, if you're giving me an either or, yeah, guys, I'm taking Bakhtiari over Becton, 100%. It's got to be Knobcraft. I don't trust Douglas and Salah anymore to either put the right people in place nor have them ready to play. I think it's Knobcraft. I need confirmation. Slobbert, if you're not, all right, it is. I'm good. I just tell by the name and the tone of the message when it's my buddy Knob. Yeah, Matthias is with me. No more injuries, plagued players. I agree. We got to find guys who are healthy. I just saw the name, you son of a bitch. All right. I'm reluctant to bring this person in because I'm trying to have a higher quality and standard in life. But unfortunately, at this time of day, you got to make some concessions, and you have to bring in lowlifes. You have to bring in people that you really don't like and you have to talk to for a while. So unfortunately, for your viewing displeasure, I bring in Nick Shine Smells. Oh, I gotta hide that.
Yeah, hello. I'm Nick Shine Smells.
There you go. There you go, everyone. Harlan, I see you here. Johnny, Phil Adams, Chuck, Albert Jimenez is here. No relation to Johnny. Wild Wave, Modine. Welcome to the season is over party.
We're gonna stage a fight between Johnny and Albert.
Yes, the battle for the King Jimenez.
Who is the man?
Who is the top Jimenez in the chat? And go. Raul Havana here. Welcome. So here's where I'm at. We've had some discussions about the line. I'm out on Becton. Becton cannot be part of the future plans. He's tied with 10 or 10 and a half as the most sacks given up by any tackle in the league this year. He has no mobility. I'm okay putting him at guard, but he's not going to want to move to guard. He was reluctant to move to right tackle. I think you just let him go. You let him go. I can't have Becton in future plans protecting Aaron Rodgers when you give up this many sacks. I'd be shocked if Becton is retained in any way, shape, or form. What's your thoughts, pal?
Yeah, I mean, he's should have come in and asked for money anyway based on his draft selection and his rookie year, and he's going to act like he deserves more money. To me, if he was on the cheap, like nobody wants him, and we, he could get him another year at a cheap price, a prove it year.
Yeah,
he could try out and compete for like a right tackle job, and try out, not even make it. Maybe just be a swing tackle on our team. But I don't feel confident going to the season with him as a starting tackle. I mean, he cannot block the fast, speedy edges. He can't. They go right around them.
Yeah. I can't have him in the plans. He's going to want to be paid. He thinks he's a top tackle. Dude, the numbers show, man. You're a bottom tier tackle.
He was so bad. Yes, I mean, I've been saying it for the last few weeks. People have been defending him, saying, no. You're looking at one play. And I actually had people shut me up. Like when I started talking about it, I'm like, well, I'm watching these games. And I feel like every time our quarterback goes down or is hit after a throw, you see Becton just standing over with his hands on his hip, looking down. I mean, he's just getting beat.
He guesses too much. He'll guess in, the guy goes out, and he can't get there. He doesn't read and react. I see a lot of his misses are guesses. I can't. I can't have you protecting Rodgers like that. I can't.
Especially not at left tackle. You can't protect the blind side.
No. Wildway says Bakhtiari got a surgery that helped us fix his previous botched surgery. Since Becton is also injury prone, you might as well sign an all-pro on Bakhtiari. I know, Wild Wave, but if we'd have to trade for him, if Green Bay cuts him, that's different. But I can't trade for him with that salary. I think it's $28 million he's due next year.
That's crazy.
And now you're
That's
giving up draft
crazy.
pick, and we need more than we can't lose a pick and the money for a guy who's only played 25 of his last 68 games.
We so clearly
66.
have to. Yeah,
He's played 25 out of 66. If Becton, who we roast, missed 33 out of 34, but he's missed one game this year, right? He missed one game. So 13 out of 14. Becton's got a higher percentage of games played in 4 years than Bakhtiari does. And Bakhtiari will make double. I can't do it.
No, you can't.
He gets cut, and you get to negotiate a less. You go get Bakhtiari at a $10 million contract as a free agent, where it's bonuses and playtime can raise that up to $15 million. I'm okay with that, but I can't trade for the guy with that contract and giving up a draft pick. I can't.
Yeah, we need to draft a tackle in the first round. Our second pick, our third rounder, if we don't do any trades, our third rounder needs to be an an interior guard or center. If the best interior player is a center, you just take him and you move Titman to guard. You know what I mean? But or you have McGovern and you have them battle it out and you have depth on the inside. But the bottom line, and definitely retain McGovern, sign him to another $2 million or whatever. He's a solid swing guard. He could play any of the three positions on the interior. So there's no reason he likes the Jets. There's no reason not to have McGovern back as a depth piece, just in case a guy we draft comes to camp and stinks it up. But they have to dedicate this offseason to the line. And I know we need a wide receiver, and that's an important piece too. But remember, if we don't fix the line, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they can't get. There's no way it does. They don't get to. Don't bring up the Cincinnati Bengals, please. Don't bring up one team because first of all, their offensive line wasn't nearly as bad as ours is. Second of all, if you can't block and your quarterback is under duress the entire time, I don't care who your receivers are. Garrett Wilson didn't catch his first pass to the third quarter. It doesn't matter. You have to block first.
So you don't think having someone like Aaron Rodgers who can check immediately into a hot route and change the play, and if he sees a blitz coming, we'll change it to Wilson, hit a 3-yard slant, get the ball out before they can blitz. Wilson can't do that. Wilson doesn't do that. Rodgers knows what the defense is going to do. Now, I'm not saying I don't want Rodgers behind a 7th guard in Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator like we had the other day. I don't want Billy Turner out there. Obviously, we do need to make some upgrades. But Wilson also got eliminated because he was going against Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey was up in his face at the line. I want another weapon on the other side of the field equal to Garrett Wilson. That way,
everybody would love that.
If you have one corner, look at the good teams in the NFL. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle together. Philly, you got Brown and Smith. You look at San Francisco, you got Kittle, you got McCaffrey, you got Ayuk, you got Debo. You got so many guys who can get open. That's why their offense flows so easily because you can't eliminate all of them.
I want another wide receiver. I'm not arguing that. But the offensive line is the bigger priority. It just is. It's like the bigger problem on the team right now by a mile. It's like you have to be able to block. You got to be able to establish a run game. Rodgers won 1 Super Bowl in all those years. There's a reason why he didn't win all the years. They were missing pieces, and not just defense. He's not God. He's not unfathomable. He needs a running game. He needs to have balance on your offense. It starts at the line. Now, I want a wide receiver. I'm not arguing that. I definitely want them to get a better wide receiver. I'm just saying is the number one problem is the offensive line. That's all.
But let's expand upon it. It's a domino effect. If you have, let's say we're picking 6 right now, Neighbors, Malik Neighbors from LSU, across from Garrett Wilson, you're not going to see as many safeties in the box. You're not going to be able to blitz as much. There's going to be less people in the box, which helps the running game. Adding another weapon that scares the defense and keeps a defensive coordinator up at night with how are we going to stop this guy? Alan Lazard doesn't do that. You can put your 6th cornerback on Alan Lazard and he's not getting separation. You can have any nickel back in the game cover Gibson. We need a guy to go with Garrett Wilson because there's only positive domino effect of it. I'm not saying ignore the line, Jeremy. I'm saying at that number 6 pick where we are now, which we can move up to 4. If we lose to Washington and Chicago beats Arizona, we can get up to number 4.
Well, if we get up to 4, then we're looking
We're
for
at
Marvin
4,
Harrison.
we're in Fashanu and alt territory. I think
Well-
Harrison goes to Arizona. I think there's no way Arizona passes on him.
I'm just saying if there's like I want to make it really clear. As much as I'm talking about the offensive line, if somehow Marvin Harrison is
Agreed.
there when we pick, I'm not arguing that. You grab Marvin Harrison Jr. because that's more than just next year. That's the next 10 years of this franchise.
Yeah. I'm going to give you my 5 right now in order. Harrison, Fashanu, Alt, Neighbors, Bowers. That's your depth chart. That's your board if you're the Jets. You have got to get an elite player. And Neighbors would be number 1 in the majority of draft classes with wide receivers, but Marvin Harrison is coming out.
Right.
So there's no loss if you get the 2nd wide receiver in this draft. You are still getting a phenomenal player.
So you're saying in every other year he's a number 1 caliber
Neighbors is
wide
there.
receiver.
Neighbors is better than Drake London. Neighbors is better than Garrett Wilson. Neighbors is better than Olave. I think he's on par with the Jamar Chase, and Chase went 4 overall. I think Neighbors is that good.
Well, it's hard to argue that. Let's say I'm not against picking a guy like that. I'm not
saying we reach. I'm not saying you go, but
Rome.
you got a tier. If you're the Jets, that's going to be the tricky part of it. Is this tackle against this weapon? Who do we rate higher? You have to hit on whoever you take, right? That's the biggest thing. We have to get an impact player.
I think we're both agreeing that. You take because you're not sitting there saying you take a receiver no matter what. You're agreeing that like best available as well. Like you're blending in the idea that if Fashanu is there and Marvin Harrison is gone.
Oh, if we get the 4, it's going to be Fashanu or Alt. If we're at 4, it's Fashanu or Alt.
And that's
be gone.
And that's all I'm saying. But if we're number 6 and those 2 guys are gone, I'm okay with the wide receiver. Because you can't reach for an offensive lineman and turn down a potential number 1 receiver.
No.
Right. No. I agree with that.
Neighbors with Wilson and Breece Hall is enough weapons to keep a defensive coordinator up every night of the week when you're playing the Jets. Right now, it's all right. We got Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey can take out Garrett Wilson. Did it for an entire half. We're going to blitz because no one else on that offense scares us. Conklin can't get separation. He's an average tight end who sometimes in a good matchup can have a nice 5-6 catch game, but it's rare. He'll get 3 in a game. He's sure-handed, but Conklin doesn't scare anybody. I want weapons that scare people. When were we at our best? When we had Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes who complemented one another. When we had Wayne Corbett and Keyshawn Johnson who complemented one another. That's when the Jets could run the ball too. Because we have wide receivers that scare the defense. We have to build it all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we just need a wide receiver and we're fixed. But in this day and era in the NFL, you need multiple weapons. Say it's Bowers. Now you got a tight end who's elite and can beat any man coverage by a safety or a linebacker. You got Garrett Wilson on the outside, and you got Brees Hall coming out of the backfield. You got an elite weapon in the passing game on every level with Aaron Rodgers coming back. You got a guy as a quarterback who knows what the defenses are doing and can get the ball out quickly, can read, recognize, check, change anything he wants. Garrett, Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle do not have that experience, knowledge, ability, or permission to change any play at any time based off of what they saw. That factors in.
Yeah, yeah.
That
But don't
factors
forget,
in.
don't forget, there's an off season, right? And it's if we're not retaining Becton, it's not like we're locked. Like Joe Douglas didn't handcuff us that we have nothing and no ability. There are guys we could still drop their contract and take maybe a $2 million dead cap. We could, we're getting rid of the $7 million on the books for Cook. There's plenty of things happening that could allow us to pick up a very good, starting tackle or, and I know it's not as exciting because I don't think in free agency there's going to be any wide receiver that's worthy of being equal to Wilson that gives you that 1-2 punch that you're looking for. So I think I would rather see them fill the offensive line needs in free agency and they go into that draft looking to take Neighbors or Harrison.
Yeah. Well, something I said earlier was I just had a brain fart. The benefit of Aaron Rodgers committing to multiple years and saying on Pat McAfee's show that I'll play at 40 and 41 is now you can kick the financial can down the road again, right? Which is probably why Woody wanted. This is probably why Woody wanted that money early because he's going to have to write another $30 million check to hand him in March before free agency opens, lower the salary cap for 2024 so we can go all in and go for if Bakhtiari gets cut, if a guard becomes available, a Calvin Ridley at wide receiver if he becomes available, or a T. Higgins, right? Like, if you want to go all in, you're going to have to go get either a top lineman or a top wide receiver in free agency to check one of those boxes before you get to the draft.
How good do you think T. Higgins is? Where would you put him?
I think T. Higgins is a nice compliment across from Garrett Wilson, but I would rather have a better route runner with quickness like Ridley with Rodgers because of the fact I like the quickness, and Rodgers will get the ball out quick if he sees a mismatch. If Rodgers was playing against the Jets the other day and we're playing this fucking 7-9 yards off the fucking off the wide receivers like we do, like, and this is why I can't call Sauce and Reed elite corners because an elite corner gets up in the goddamn face of the receiver and eliminates him from the game. I hate this part of the scheme. Let these guys get up in their face.
Yeah.
You're giving
I think
Jalen Waddle, a fucking track star, a sprint for 7 yards at you, and then he cuts. Of course he's going to be fucking wide open. You're going from stopping to trying to catch him. It's fucking pitch and catch. It's stupid.
Yeah, I think
elite corners. Let them fucking be elite corners.
I think Sauce hates it, and I think he feels he's being wasted. I really do think he's frustrated. I think you could see sometimes he's frustrated by it, that he has to give that space. Also, I mean, I didn't want to jump right into Salah so quickly, but that's another thing that just irritates me about this coach. I hate people that stick so stubbornly to a system you don't make a common sense change. We all know in that game, they should have switched up and had Sauce shadow Waddle.
Yeah. Without Tyreek Hill, eliminate their best threat.
Yeah.
That touchdown pass that they ran, though, that play to Waddle, it was brilliant play design. Brilliant. They ran a post right at the safety. The safety jumped it. Waddle went right past them. That's play design. You read the safety. Safety drops, we're hitting the post. Safety jumps, we're going over the top. Quick, easy read, pitch and catch, man. Just throw the ball out there and let Waddle run under it. And it was an easy. The play design of that is what I got jealous of. That's what we don't see. We don't have the threats or the speed to put pressure on the other team. Allen Lazard can't do that shit. Allen Lazard is a fucking glorified tight end. He's a CJ Uzoma at wide receiver. He's a nice blocker. He doesn't get open, and when he does catch the ball, you're fucking shocked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a big
Well, I
mistake
would love
with
neighbors.
our.
I think Jets fans would lose their goddamn minds if we got neighbors.
It would be super exciting, especially. I mean, but we gotta fill the offensive tackle needs in the in the free agency
Yeah.
market. Like we have to. We can't. I mean, right now. I mean, do we even want AVT to be a tackle? It seems like he gets hurt every time he's a tackle. Don't we want AVT back at guard? But I feel like we might end up needing two tackles, so we have no choice. Like we're gonna have to have AVT take up one of the tackle spots.
Let me pull it up. Give me a second, phone.
I mean, because are we really going to go out and get two tackles? I don't think Warren is the answer.
All right. Oh, that's not the one I want.
I mean, what do we do, Modine? Tell us. Like, what would you do, Modine? You have a lot of criticism of the Jets. Modine, I need you to tell me, what do we do about tackle? What would Modine do?
Yeah, but when the Chiefs and Jags did play well. Yeah. When you have a passing threat that scares the other team and you have a quarterback that scares the other team, you don't go all out blitz all the time. You don't go zero coverage all the time. You occasionally dial it up.
I know, but
we got it dialed up every fucking play. Run blitz,
not,
pass blitz. They blitzed us like every fucking play in the first half.
But if you watch when teams are bringing four on us, they're still getting lots of pressure. It's not only the blitz.
No.
Like they're getting pressure.
We got guys who are fucking at Walmart playing on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we need to have a top 5 offensive line. I'm saying we need to have an average, middle of the league offensive line. That's all. I just want an average offensive line. If we had the 15th best offensive line, we'd be fine. Because Aaron Rodgers is obviously gets rid of the ball faster. He's a passing threat. It's going to open up the run game. We have Brees Hall. Like, I have no question about it. But we can't be the 28th best offensive line in football next year and win the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll go to the playoffs, but we're not going to compete for a Super Bowl, in my opinion, with the 28th best offensive line. We have to be at least like middle of the league.
Agree. All right. Somebody asked. I lost a comment in the chat. I apologize. Chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining. All right. If we're at number 4, the value of number 4 is 1,800 on the draft value chart.
A lot of points.
So if we were to go back to, say, Tennessee at 9, that's 1,350. So you're looking at a 450 point difference.
What does that
get? You get their number 2, which is 490. So you go from number 4, you drop down to number 9, and you get a second round pick.
But if Tennessee picks up the phone and calls us, it's always easier to get more, because if they're moving up to get a quarterback, let's say, for example, teams that do that kind of stuff, we saw San Francisco do it. We see teams overpay for quarterbacks, overpay to move up all the time.
Now, you're right. Here's the other side of it. If you go from 4 to 9, you're missing out on Harrison, Alt, Fashanu, and probably Neighbors.
Probably.
I can't.
Can you imagine if you got Neighbors? You traded down to 9 and you got Neighbors?
Yeah.
That'd be the heist of the century.
Yeah. But I can't miss out on one of these guys. I don't think our offense can miss out on one of those players. I mean, free agency is going to tell us a lot. Where we end up in the draft is going to tell us a lot. Like, let's look at, I'm going to pull up Tankathon, which I'm surprised just doesn't automatically open every time I open the fucking internet. So when you're looking at where we are, we're actually at 7 right now on Tankathon, because the Giants' strength of schedule changed after last night's game.
Mm.
But if Chicago wins this week against Arizona, we move up a spot. We need the Giants, Chicago, and Washington to all win. That'll put us up to number 4.
I think that Washington will beat us. That's gonna be that, unless we're stupid. I mean, but if we're not starting, if Rogers is not playing, I think that Zach is gonna I don't think Zach's gonna play next week. I think even if he can, they're gonna cover it up and use it as an excuse the injury, right? I don't think he's gonna play, so I think that's we're gonna lose this upcoming game. The Giants are not tanking. They're not. This coach is not doing that. They're trying really hard to win. I think the Giants might even end up winning 2 more games. So I don't think they're going to be in.
No, they got Philly twice and the Rams.
Oh, then I'm wrong. Very wrong.
All right, let's look at that.
But that means their strength of schedule is really tough. So they're going to go down below us anyway.
Arizona has Chicago, Philly, and Seattle. We need Arizona to win 2 games. I don't think that's happening. So you'd rather Arizona lose to Chicago and allow Chicago at 5 to get the 6 wins. Washington has us, San Francisco, and Dallas. So we need Washington to beat us if we want to get ahead. And I know people are going to fucking hate this, but I don't want to beat New England. What do I give a shit if Trevor Siemian or fucking the other one? I can't even think of the other one's name.
Rippon?
Brett Rippon. Who gives a shit if they beat New England? I'd rather lose that game.
At this point, at this point, I want to lose out. At this point, there's no point in winning another game.
I mean, who gives a shit if Brett Rippon wins? We're out of the playoffs. And I think we got all the motivation we need for 2024 today when Aaron Rodgers said, I'm coming back for a year or 2. I think that calms Garrett Wilson down. I think it calms Breece Hall down. I think it kind of lets everyone know, hey, yeah, this year it was a kick to the dick. It sucked. We're down. We're down hard. It wasn't enjoyable. Guys, we're going to have 2 of the best years you've ever had playing football. Just go through the motions the next 3 weeks. Don't get injured. And we'll go into it next year, and it will be an all-in season. We're going to have 2 years of being all-in. The defense is – everyone's under contract. All the main players are under contract. Huff's the only question mark. Quincy, CJ, Reed, Garrett, Tony Adams on the back end, Quinnen, JJ, McDonald, everyone of value. Quentin Jefferson came in. It was nice pickup. You can sign him to another deal, a 1-year, $5 million deal. All right, you get more to go play elsewhere, go ahead. But you want to feast and you want to do well, come play with this D unit. Go get a big body on the D line. Replace like an ARods. Get a veteran run stuffer and a late round big body, so that when it's a rundown, we can put big bodies in there.
Yeah, we have no problem. We have no problem filling those spots. He's been so good at getting defensive tackles, right? I mean, Jefferson and Woods and Sheldon, Rankins. I mean, like through the few years, it hasn't been an issue. And then, it's the kind of position where in the 3rd and 4th round, like you said, you could easily get a run stuffing kind of guy, So, I mean, not worried about that position at all. I kind of feel the same way about linebacker. If when Mosley's done or whatever at any point, you see what they did with Quincy Williams. They could develop in this system anyone that's athletic. They could find the right guys. In the draft, there's always linebackers in the 3rd round that we love. These are easier positions to fill. The tougher positions, we got pretty much locked down for a while. You're right. We're going to have a nice 2 years here where we have all the hard, difficult positions kind of locked down.
Yeah. Everyone. This defense is locked in. And that's why I don't want to change the head coach, because you want this defense when you have Rodgers. People are bitching about Will McDonald not playing. But you know what Will McDonald was supposed to be this year? He was supposed to be a guy that we bring in when we're up 13, and you want to send speed at an offensive lineman who's been dealing with JJ and Huff and John Franklin Myers the entire goddamn game, and he runs around them to get sacks at the end of the game. That was going to be his role as a rookie. Newsflash.
Yeah.
That got taken away too when Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. Hello, Mr. Carney Jedi. Jedi should tell you who this is. The return of the Jedi with his red Sharpie. Yeah, he'll be back.
Modine.
I have a serious question for you, Billy, and I'm going to take you to task here. Why have you waited so long to watch women's beach volleyball? You haven't started? You're missing out, man. You're missing out. I can't watch WNBA. I
gotta
can't
watch the Brazil.
Yeah, I would. Women's beach volleyball is good stuff. I don't care if the Jets are undefeated. You better make some time in your goddamn. You know what, Billy? You miss one of my shows to go watch on YouTube women's beach volleyball, and then you come back to me.
Brazil.
Oh, you watch Brazilian anything. You watch people working at McDonald's in Brazil and have a good time with those women. Yeah, Matthias. Wait, what's one more fucking year for us? It's been 13 years without the playoffs. It's been 50 years without the Super Bowl. Why can't we wait 9 more months to go all in? We got the defense. What do you want to do? People want to bring in a new general manager on an all-in season, and now you're going to have a general manager? Like, I want Joe Douglas running this offseason like his fucking job is on the line. Because it is. I want Douglas maybe going all in. They did that with Rodgers this year. Now, go get an elite weapon to pair with Wilson. Go get a guard in round 3. And then either get the weapon, Ridley or Higgins, in the draft and the free agency, or get an elite offensive lineman in free agency or via trade. I'm not so much big on trade, but if it's an up-and-coming guy, okay. And go from there. Like go all in. You need another wide receiver. You need a guard. You need a tackle. Maybe 2 tackles. But Tippmann, Tomlinson, and Vera Tucker, I think, are locks on the line. You can play Tucker in or out. I'm fine with wherever you put him.
But Tomlinson is 1 more year. As soon as we get out of that contract, we get out.
Yeah.
Which will be nice because it's going to free up a lot of money when we get rid of when Laken Tomlinson's gone. So.
Yeah, but if you can get 1 more year out of Tomlinson, and then the following year you go get another 2nd, 3rd round guard. Like, not every guy on the offensive line has to be drafted in the 1st round. Bakhtiari was like 5th or 6th round. There's guys out there who are technicians who might not have the SEC pedigree. There's a lot of guys in the SEC who don't do as well in the NFL because they got all pros at every other goddamn position on their line in college. So you don't need a round 1 lineman at every position on the line. You don't need $100 million in offensive linemen. You just got to find an elite guy and then get some nice, solid guys around them. Maybe 2 elite guys if you're lucky. You know, I think Tippmann is very well on his way to being a very good top 10 center in this league. AVT at guard is very well on his way to be a top 10 guard in the league, or top 10 right guard. You go get Alt or Fashanu, left tackle. I'm not mad at that. I want a weapon. I'm not mad if we get one of those guys.
But then you have to find a way. Like, then it had to be that means in the offseason. Like, maybe you get T. Higgins. Like, you have to get another weapon. There's no question about that. We can't go in to the season with Alan Lazard as our wide receiver too. You just can't do it.
No. Mike with a good take. Every time I see my boy Chaos, he's more and more relaxed. First, he's in a lounge chair. Now on the couch. What's next? The bed. Oh, he was in the bed a couple weeks ago. About 3 weeks ago, he was in the bed for a show. If it gets him in the shower, I'm out. I won't allow that. Like I care about what my
I was thinking of
my
taking
viewers
some
think.
photography classes and try to finagle my way into like one of those magazines or companies where I could take pictures of models.
Yeah. Oh. All right, brother. I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I'm not feeling 100%. I'm sick, and I wanted to get up for a little bit. And when this news came through, and I'm on empty, I need some more nasal spray. I don't even have it here by me. It's on the other side of the room next to the bed.
Running
But
on empty.
I'm on
Get it,
empty, man.
Modine?
I'm gonna lay down again for a little bit.
You hear that, Modine? Running on empty.
Running on empty.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
Yeah, Matthias, we're all sick of losing seasons. That's what I'm sick of. I just can't get enough oxygen to my brain, and I don't have enough brain cells as is. I had to beat Jeremy to that joke. I had bronchitis at first, and then my son came over. You know, he's here, fucking breathing on me. It gets me sick, so I got the throat tickle. Sunday, man, I put in an Instacart order Sunday night of 2 bottles of Mucinex, nasal spray, Vicks nasal spray, Chloraseptic, tea bags, lemon. What else did I get? There's one other thing. Oh, tissues. Yeah, I'm hoping this stuff breaks up, man. It just gets out of my head. Like today is a little more. It's looser than yesterday. That's what she said, and it's just not coming out yet. That's also what she said. So, thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining, Jeremy. Thank you for being such a great friend and getting your fat ass off the couch and walking up to your office and sitting in the chair like a normal human being. Probably don't even have fucking pants on right now.
Oh, you're being facetious.
Oh yeah, I was doing trickery with words. But everyone will pop up again. I'll probably pop up later in the week, and
Well, tomorrow night, you idiot.
yeah, we'll be on tomorrow night. We'll go a little deeper. Are we doing? Is it time we're eliminated from the playoffs? Are we doing first mock draft?
We could definitely throw in a mock draft. Why the hell not?
There you go, folks. Jets Chaos channel tomorrow night. The Pride and Chaos show Wednesdays at 8. Some point in the second hour, we will do our first mock. It'll be the first of many. So join us and mock the mock. All right, everyone. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Like the stream. And you guys are the best. As always, be loud, be proud, New York Jets fans. And Jeremy.